And we're back after a win. Bazzy's black and gold banter. Who picked
You know
the
what I'm
Steelers to
doing?
win? Who
Wait,
picked
no.
the Steelers to win?
No, see, no. I said, I promised I was going to laugh at Mr. Tangio. Remember? So that's me
Yes.
opening up the show laughing at Vic Tangio. Is his name
There
Vic?
you go.
His name Vic?
Yeah, Vic Fangio. There you go. So you'd laugh at him. And the Steelers got the last laugh, right? I mean, they just put it on the Broncos. It was fascinating to me. You picked them to win. You're also laughing because of that. I know you.
No, I did not even think for a minute that I was right and you were wrong. Not even a minute.
But it's great to talk after a win. And perhaps the Steelers can look. How crazy does this sound? If they win this week, they're at 500 going into the bye week, whereas a lot of people had left them for dead. A real big swing game. Let's get to the Steelers. How about we get to the Steelers in a couple minutes here? The biggest story in sports, not just in the NFL, in sports, is this John Gruden piece.
Oh boy.
You know what I'm fascinated about is I'm just a guy that's a minion. I'm a digger with a shovel. I'm the guy that's a lineman. You're a leader of a business. How do people who are leaders and at the top of something take this situation?
There's no safe ground for this conversation for me, and I don't want to be on safe ground. I have never lacked an opinion. This is pretty big stuff for me because I really think that it does put a spotlight on a problem it's been forever and it hasn't gone away. And I don't think without the spotlight on it that it can go away. Way back a long time ago in my lifetime, I worked at Caesar's Palace in Lake Tahoe, and I worked for a guy named Dan Chandler. Now, and you're a sports guy, so his father was Happy Chandler. And do you know who Happy Chandler was? He was the baseball commissioner, right?
Right.
Right before Bowie Kuhn. And so he was also the baseball commissioner that made the decision to allow Jackie Robinson to play baseball. And that was Happy Chandler. And he was the governor of Kentucky at the time. And then he became the baseball commissioner and made that decision. And somebody said to him in his book, he wrote a book called Heroes, Plain Folks, and Skunks. And it's really cool. But he said, somebody asked him, Happy, why did you make the decision to let that young man, Jackie Robinson, play baseball? And Happy Chandler's answer to me was priceless. And he said, when it came time to meet my maker, if the good Lord said to me, Happy, why didn't you let that young man, Robinson, play baseball? I knew that if my answer was because of the color of his skin, it just wasn't going to be good enough. And that's not just a colloquialism. He actually said that. And I live with that and I believe in that. There's no place for that. And in sports, in business, in professional and personal lives, there's no place for it. And I do think that John Gruden's emails say we really still have a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic to me. And it's something, too, where something that spawned from it is kind of the whataboutism. What about this guy? What about that? And it's almost a deflection tactic, whereas how about you just don't act misogynistic and don't act sexist and don't act racist and you just be good to people, and that's the focus. That's the part, the attempts to, I don't want to say victimize, but almost derail the pillar point, which is this is a man in a position of leadership and leading people he was essentially degrading that lost his job. I don't understand how anybody can see it any way, but that's the right decision, no matter how things came about.
Well, and I agree with that. I saw Tony Dungy is somebody that I love and respect highly, every part of his life. But he had a different take on it, didn't he? He felt like maybe it seemed to me, he thought maybe we should just accept the apology and move on since it happened 10 years ago. Of course, then a flood of other emails surfaced.
Right.
So I don't know if that's still how he feels today, but I don't think this is something you accept and move on from. I think you call attention to it. And I think that You really have to have some protocols in place. It's very disappointing, and it's sad. It's sad that it still exists today.
Well, one thing, Richard, that comes out from it for me is you wonder, coaches always want to coach, right? Pretty much, particularly if given the right opportunity or granted the right opportunity, or they at least want to go after those opportunities. I wonder if people knew something, and that's why John Gruden didn't coach for 10 years. You know, he had a good job with ESPN, but he also, again, coaches want to coach. And that's the part of me and the skeptic in me and the person that does what I do in the morning on the radio that wonders, why wasn't he presented a better opportunity for 10 years?
I mean, I really don't have an answer for that. I don't know that. It would be hard for me to believe, though, that somebody knew this and went ahead and hired him, because really, wasn't this discovered through an investigation of the Washington Redskins,
yes,
the Washington football team?
Yeah.
So it was discovered there. So there must be a bigger picture, and there must be culpability from others, and I am excited to see what they may be.
Well, I come out from the other side of it to kind of wrap this part of it up about John Gruden, though, I guess, is I come out from the other side of it is you can never go wrong just being nice. Like that sounds so simplistic and it sounds so elementary and base level, but you can never go wrong just being nice. You'll never, people may take advantage of how nice you are, but in all honesty, if you take that tack, you could never truly go wrong. It's that simple.
Well, I think that's true, but boy, do you remember? You know how that culture has to begin at birth. I mean, it really does, and it has to go through education. And you talk about the golden rule, and those things are the things that need to be focused on, and the do unto others, and all of that. I think it's so important, and I do think we tend to stray from that. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but I did. I grew up in Munhall. Went to Steel Valley High School. Obviously, if you like, I look ethnic, and I was ridiculed for that when I went there. And honestly, it made me embarrassed sometimes to tell somebody if they said, "What nationality are you?" I was embarrassed, and I shouldn't be. And I'm not. That's not a complaint right now, and it's not a social commentary. But I am aware of what that might feel like, and so. It just really would be hard for somebody like John Gruden to recover from this, in my opinion.
Well, someone said to me today, and this was fascinating. Someone said to me, a person of color said to me today, they said, when I hear I don't see color, that's silly, because then what happens is we try to homogenize everybody and make everybody the same. And that's what we want to get away from. If somebody says, Richard Bazzy, I don't see your skin tone, or I don't see your, that's not what we want. We want to see that you're different, and we want to celebrate the differences. And I think that's where we're going in life, or where we should be in life, as opposed to saying, I'm colorblind. No, you are a different color than me. Tell me about it and let's celebrate it. That fascinated and opened my eyes today when someone said that.
That's a great statement. That really is a great statement. I'd like to see more of that. Didn't John Gruden, didn't Mike Tomlin work for John Gruden?
Yes. And it was interesting in Mike Tomlin's press conference on Tuesday to hear Mike Tomlin say he's sad for the whole situation. He's sad for the people affected. He's sad for the Raiders. He's sad for John Gruden even. And that was about the commentary he gave to it. It's just I don't know. It's if you don't communicate those things, if you don't transform those thoughts in your head, then it's a non-starter where you're that guy. And I guess that to me is the lesson I try to push onto my kids. If that doesn't enter your head and you don't see people as less than you or degrade them or whatever, and you never formulate those thoughts, you're never going to get yourself in a jam because you just don't feel that way.
You don't have it. It's not inside.
Right.
So it can't come out. I agree with that. And I didn't mean to go on as long as we have about this, but I think it's so relevant right now. And I hope that if anybody does see this and can make a difference, do make a difference.
Well, the other part of it too is in the football world, in any team sport or team endeavor or what you do as somebody who is trying to make a business work, whenever you have to intermingle with people of all races, of ethnicities, of sexes or whatever, you just have to work as a team, and you can't do that You simply can't do it. If you're on an island somewhere and you're working by yourself, you can have whatever thought that you want, and you're just impacted by you. But football is like the ultimate team endeavor. I don't know how you can see people differently or rank them, so to speak.
Yeah, I hate it, and which is
Yeah.
why I wanted to talk about it.
Gotcha.
So anyway, that's
Oh,
done.
now follow me on this one. Follow me on this one. Steelers are 2-3, right? One game before the bye, Seattle comes to town. I said that I think that the divergence of opinion will be as wide as we've ever seen in this town based on this result. Let me explain. If they win and they're 3-3 and they go into the bye at 3-3, oh my gosh, they got a shot. They could be a playoff team. The Bills game, it's just a fluke. Who cares? Whatever. They're right back in it. The Steelers are. And we sit on that for a week as we wait for another game during the bye. If they lose, 2-4, lost to a backup quarterback. Seattle came here. Seattle's not good. Go ahead and tank. They're not going to do anything. Season's over. The result of this game swings the fan base's thought on this team gigantically this week.
I think not just the fan base, but I think the sports writers also. I think that it's very easy to go either way on this. First of all, it's not going to be an easy win if we win. Geno Smith is a force to contend with. I think he's very good at what he does. I personally almost like him better than Russell Wilson.
Wow.
So I like Geno Smith. Jamal Adams, man, if he can put it together, he can be very disruptive. He brings pressure like no other. He can do it. He can cover. He can blitz. He can do everything. Of course, as I'm seeing all this, I'm thinking in my mind, wow, what a great opportunity. Short screen passes, bring them, let them come in, let them blitz, and then just, burn them. But, and I'm sure coaches have a much different and more intelligent strategy than mine. However, there are some specific challenges this team's going to have to make. Pete Carroll, I'm not a Pete Carroll fan either. So
he's the most overrated coach in sports.
100%. And I will never get past the way he called that Super Bowl game on the 1 yard line with Marshawn Lynch on his roster, who is like a human bowling ball, and he decides to throw the pass that loses the game.
Whenever anybody wants to talk about the greatest coaches, even in current day, not of all time, but just in current day, in the NFL, I immediately, when they bring up his name, take him off the list or laugh them out of the room, considering in the biggest moment that he had in his career, at least one of the biggest moments, if not the biggest one, he didn't just make the wrong decision. He made the decision that was a 180 from the decision he should have made. He had one of the best short yardage backs, Richard, in history that's ever played this game, and used him as a decoy. He's immediately off the list.
What's really funny about this is you and I never talked about this before.
No.
That's what's really funny.
People mention him as you can't be a great coach when you screwed up in the biggest moment.
So go back to USC, Pete. Chew your bubble gum.
Right.
We're gonna get him. We should get him a big bunch of bubble gum and send it to his hotel room. Right? I mean, he chews a wad of bubble gum that's huge. And that's not to pick. I mean, he could pick on me too, but I didn't make the call to avoid Marshawn Lynch. Anyway, so I do think they have some weapons. I think the Steelers are all over it. I think the Steelers win, and I do think, and we talked about this, that offensive line. Remember, it's not a 6-game season, right? I mean, it's a 17-game season, and I believe that as I see this start to unfold, we probably knew we were going to have some growing pains with this offensive line. We weren't delusional about it.
You got me on this one. I was ready to let him out of the car in West Run Road and just push him out. The whole offensive line, Richard. You were the one 3 weeks ago that said, I think they're getting better. They just need to push forward. Again, I was ready to say, out, season's over, you guys stink. I don't know how you see the positivity all the time. Maybe I'm too negative. Even when they were terrible 3 weeks ago, you say, I see there's a kindling there that's starting, and you saw it.
I did see it, and I see it, and I do realize how an offensive line really has to really has to be together, and they have to be one. There's 5 linemen. They have to be operate as one. And I saw once they had a small victory, and last week was not just a small victory. Last week was a huge victory.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, there's 2 things in this world, I think, 2 professions that are more controlled by your attitude than anything. And of course, one is sales and one is athletics and sports. Your attitude can carry you miles beyond your ability. And I think that's what they have. I think they have guys that are young, willing to run, willing to grow, wanting to be part of something. And I think they're going to be that. But imagine this line a year from now. It's going to be pretty damn good line.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. I hope they wear their yellow uniforms because I want to just make them bleed red all over them. Just kidding. But I really am excited for this game. And a couple of things, though, during Mike's press conference. And by the way, here's the other thing I'm going to say. I will never do this show without an enthusiastic endorsement of Mike Tomlin, ever. I love Mike Tomlin. Everything he says. Sometimes I wonder, like, how did he rehearse this? Like, where did he get these analogies and these words? I mean, it just comes to him so naturally. And he is motivational, and he does get it. But he said a couple things using the word mobile quarterbacks and mobility, right?
He has said it twice now in the past 2 weeks, pretty much, hey, our quarterback can't move, and so we have to figure out workarounds.
Yes. I mean, that's the first time I've really heard him. But it's a reality. So it's a reality of what we have. We can't go out there and say we don't have that problem. We do have it. And in this league today, when they start talking about why teams are going for 4th down conversions more than ever because of the quarterback, the mobility of the quarterback. We didn't have that before. So in order to keep up with the game, we have to keep up with the position. And the other thing, remember on Sunday during the game, I think I sent you a text after I heard I think it was Fox News or Fox Sports,
right?
Whoever was on that desk said they had a conversation with Mike Tomlin the night before. And Mike Tomlin told him, they asked him, what does life after Ben look like for you? And Mike Tomlin said, according to this reporter, Mike Tomlin said, I'm not interested in a rookie quarterback.
Yep.
And I think that's huge. And so, because I've always poo-pooed the idea of Aaron Rodgers, I've always thought, why would Aaron Rodgers leave there? He insisted they sign his receiver. He's got what he wants there. Why would he want to leave? But then I keep hearing these little flirtations between Mike and Aaron, and it does kind of fit. Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh could be the Tom Brady to Tampa.
I'm not even ready for it's going to make my head explode the more I need to get through this season because that story is going to be so gigantic where Aaron Rodgers is going to land. But the more it's not tamped out, the more you have to take it seriously. Because if Aaron Rodgers wanted it tamped out, he could put the fire out right now.
Yes, he could. That's a very good point.
That's the way I look at it.
And that's a very good point. So who do you lean towards? Who do you favor this week?
Steelers are going to win. The Steelers will win by 6 points this week. I think the Steelers will win 26-20. No. 24-18. The Steelers will win this week.
Okay, that's pretty bold. Again, I'm not a point spread guy. I'm just a winner or a loser, and Steelers are absolutely going to win, and I think it's going to be by more than 6, but I don't know what that score will be. I think, but listen, Colin. The other thing I do want to say, I love Juju Smith-Schuster. I love him. I think his energy is fabulous. I think his ability is fabulous. I think I even responded to somebody that said, well, how would you describe his career with the Steelers? My answers were mismanaged and underused. And I believe that. And his toughness. I mean, when you have a go-to guy and it's Juju, anyway, my heart aches for him. I'm sorry for that. Sorry that happened to him. And I hope and wish him a speedy recovery. So that I wanted to make sure I got in. There was something else and I don't remember it. Do you have anything?
No, we have our prediction. We both picked the Steelers. And in the future, a couple weeks from now, because the tickets, there's no game, there's an off week, we'll give tickets away again in a couple weeks here. So
that's correct.
one thing, though, I think we need to get in. you have gotten pictures, and Schultz Ford Instagram and Schultz Ford social media have gotten pictures from every person that has gotten the tickets and won the tickets with using the code word and has had a splendid time inside the stadium. Do you see the pictures that they send and how happy they are from watching
I
this?
know.
So
It's pretty cool.
it
is
is
pretty cool. I think we're doing fun things here, and I love it. And I really respect and appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
absolutely. Likewise, and we will talk next week after a win, I think.
After a win.